Well, there's a friend of mine that I've met. His name is Tom Hsieh. He's from California, and he was just in People magazine not too long ago, and people calling him crazy. They just say he's not in touch with reality. You see, Tom makes well over $200,000 a year, and yet he chooses to live at the national level of income, which is about $38,000. And he gives everything else away. Hey, Tom.
Hi, Pastor Dwight.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well.
Good, good. Is it sunny out there?
It is very sunny out here in California.
It's very cold here.
I'm sorry.
It's very cold. That's okay. We feel your love.
Right.
Well, hey, Tom, I was just telling them just a little bit about you and how you have spoken into my life. And why don't you just kind of bring us up to speed about how God has worked in your life, and then I'll have another question for you.
All right. Well, the Lord's just been extremely generous to my wife and I. And in my life, the Lord's challenged me and He's tested me. And when I was graduating from college, he convicted me of the fact that he really has a love for the poor. And the second thing he convicted me of is that I don't have a love for the poor. Wow. And so he said, Tom, there's a problem here. And so I passed up some more high-paying opportunities to move into the inner city and to work in the inner city. And yet at the same time, the Lord continued to bless my career and bless my family. And it's really out of His generosity to us that we've been able to give. It's because it's His money anyway.
Wow. So, you're at this stage of where, God said He loves poor people, and He gave you the realization that you didn't love poor people. And He started moving and working in your life, and so you've made a decision about how you give and how you share your resources. And you would say that love, really, for God and for people is making you do that. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, God's love, it's just been, to experience God's love in that way, and His love for other people, it's just tremendous. I'd love to share a story.
Yeah, share us just a couple of stories of what God is doing and how He's moving in your life as you allow His love to flow through you.
Yeah, I'm going to share a story about something that happened to my wife and I several years ago. We were walking down the street here in our neighborhood, and, everyone knows, one, that we're Christians, but two, they also know we're rich because there's only 3 of us living in our unit, our 2-bedroom apartment complex, apartment unit, whereas most of our neighbors have multiple families per unit. And as we're walking down the street, 2 teenagers stopped us in the street. And they asked us if we were the couple that lives on the corner. And we looked at them quizzically. Yes, we're the couple that lives there. And they said, well, do you know the Bible? We said, yes, we know the Bible. And they asked, well, would you teach it to us and our friends? And we're just floored. I never had that happen to me before. And I said, oh, absolutely. Show up at our house at Wednesdays at 5 p.m., you know where it is, and we'll teach you the Bible. And I think in this place of such darkness where the high school attrition rate is 50% and there's homicide and drug dealing, just these kids, the Holy Spirit's moving in them to show them that there's something more. Well, they show up, and every week, and they bring a half a dozen of their friends with them. Every week they come, and we study the Bible. But over the month, I realized that the ringleader of this group, Levi, one of the guys that stopped us in the street, that he's also not only coming to our Bible studies, he's also running with a bad crowd. He's involved in a gang. He's dealing drugs. And I confronted Levi, and I said, Levi, you've been studying the Bible. The Lord's been speaking to you. You know He's calling you to a different life. And Levi would just hang his head, and he said, I know, Tom, I know, but it is so hard to change. I said, Levi, you've got to change your life before it's too late. Unfortunately, a week later, Levi was caught in a gunfight. and he was shot in the back of the head. My wife and I rushed to the hospital, and we prayed over him, and prayed the Lord to have mercy. And miraculously, Levi survived. After being in coma for 4 days, he revived. And when we heard that he had revived, my wife and I rushed back to the hospital. And as we were coming through the doors of his room, he sees us coming, and he shouts, "Tom, I'm going to change my life." I'm like, "Levi, only took a bullet to the head." But what the Lord really did for me in that also happened a couple weeks later. I was at a new peak in my career at that time. And I'm at a dinner meeting in a expensive steakhouse in Los Angeles. It's $1 million deal on the table. There's also a $50 steak and a $100 bottle of wine on the table. And as I'm sitting there, I'm still thinking about Levi. And I remember a scene from the movie The Matrix, where this character, Cypher, who betrays his party, is sitting at a steakhouse. And he cuts into the steak and he says, "I know the steak's not real, but it tastes real and it smells real, and that's good enough for me." And so as I'm sitting in this posh place, my career at a new high, I'm thinking about this lifestyle that I could have, I realized this steak's not real. This kind of lifestyle that I could be pursuing, could be having, is not real. What was real was what God was doing in the life of Levi, how he had pulled him from the clutches of hell, out of the enemy's hands, and brought him into life. And I realized that's what God's done for me too.
Wow.
He saved me from death into life.
That's incredible, Tom. That's incredible. And your life and your choices deeply bother me. They convict me. And they challenge me to want to reprioritize my life and reorganize it even in a greater way. And we thank you for your life and the example and the conviction that it brings to our heart. And we bless you and your family, and I'll be in touch with you later.
Thank you, Pastor Dwight.
Thank you, Tom. God bless you. We love you. Love will make you do some crazy stuff.